Hi everyone, it's Jen from Jen's Junk Journal Gems. This is part three, part in my series of making my Buddhist junk journal for myself. Part one, you'll be able to find in my videos. Was showing you the fabrics that I ordered from a shop, Beach and from Etsy. And part two was actually putting together the fabrics and the imagery on the outside of my book cover. Now I have added a few little things after my last video. So this is basically what I've come up with. I think I added this off video and this image here and just a few little scraps just to soften the edges around this image. And I'm really happy with the way this turned out, this collage piece. Now, what I did was I purchased a couple of digital kits, and if you're interested in some of the imagery from the digital kits that I'm about to show you, I will post a link below in the description box. If there's no request, what I'll do is I'll save those links from the Etsy shops that I purchased the digital kits from on the final flip through of the video once this journal is done. What I'm finding is, and I'll bring it through to the process. That was part of the digital kit that I used. There's a pocket there and a pocket there. Now, what I found was when you fold, and let me get a piece of paper here. When you fold a regular, I think it's called an A4, which is 8 by 11 approximately. I think it's 8.25 by 11 inches. Regular piece of paper. I'm going to fold this in, oh no, not this paper, hold on. That has printing that I need on it. Okay, let's do this one. Now, because I've already done the cover, I wanted to see how big my signatures have to be inside. And what I found was that a regular sheet of paper folded in half is actually a pretty good size for a signature. So I really don't want to have most of my papers smaller than this 8 1/4 by 11 folded sheet. What I did was I went ahead and I printed, as I said, from a couple of digital kits that I found on a couple of different Etsy shops. And let me just take this off here. I've used cardstock. Let me see if I can find it. I bought these at Walmart. So let me see what the poundage is here. Oh, 65 pounds right there. Okay, so it's 65-pound paper, 8 1/2. Sorry, I mentioned 8 1/4 in the beginning. 8 1/2 by 11. So standard size, and then it comes in all these neat colors. So what I did was I printed and I selected the fit to page option when I printed, and it did still leave a gap around the edge here. So I'll show you. I thought, okay, well, I'll cut off the white edge because I usually do cut off the white edges. And I'll show you what happened if I can find it in here. There it is. So that's the size that I cut around. So you can see where I've cut around it. I thought, okay, well, I'll just cut around this edge. No problem. I normally do when I do digital kits. Well, this is where it leaves me. Look at how much space is left around here as compared to leaving the blank space. That's a huge difference. This I can live with in terms of the signature being the right size for the cover. This is not something that I want to compose all of my signatures this size. It's just way too small. So I went on to a couple of Facebook groups that I'm in for junk journaling, and there was some good suggestions there. One of which was actually, which I originally was going to do anyway with the images that I'm leaving here, is to ink around, you know, just to make it a little bit more cohesive so it's not so stark. That's definitely something I'm going to do. There was another suggestion that, let me just get a piece of paper here, that I actually glue this on to a colored sheet and then I can ink around it. I mean, I could very well do that too, and that's something that I might do for some of my images. What I might do is trim some of them this length, or, you know, this size, and just use them in the signature, because as you know, when you make a junk journal, not all of your paper sizes have to be the same. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now this is most of this is actually the 65 pound. I'm not going to be including any tea or coffee stained paper, I don't think. Oops. Because that is not really part of what I want to include in this journal. It's not a vintage journal. It's not your typical junk journal. It's a spiritually based journal. So anything goes. I can do really whatever I want, but I didn't think that the coffee and tea stained paper would really go with the flow of this journal, and that's why I'm not including it. So almost all of these, now this is plain paper, which I will trim around. I don't mind it being smaller, but almost all of these images are cardstock, are the 65 pound. So this is going to be something that I've never done before, that most of the pages that I'm going to include in my signatures are going to be this 65 pound. Now, why, you ask? Well, again, the tea and coffee stained paper is on regular paper, the 20 pound, and it's doesn't go with the theme of the journal that I'm making. What is going with the theme of the journal that I'm making is a lot of different colors. I mean, look at the fabric on here. So I thought that by including a lot of different colors, pinks and blues and beiges and yellows, it kind of goes with the theme, and that's why I've chosen to use this 65 pound paper, which I can do tags on and whatever else. This is just the beginning stage of me putting this signature together. Some of them are going to be just regular paper, and I will trim these around the blank spots here, and it's okay if all the pages aren't the right size. I mean, here we are with that paper that I showed you earlier. It's not the same size, but that's okay. Not all the pages have to be the same size. As long as the majority, I love this image, look at how beautiful that is. As long as the majority of my signature is the full size, because that is what I'm going to be sewing in and having it as my signature. It's very dense using this cardstock. Again, this is something totally new. It's paper. I've never ever left edging around here. Now, what I'm thinking is I don't necessarily have to trim this one because it matches so well with the image. I coordinated the color, so I'm okay with leaving that around. So this is going to be something completely different than from what I've done. Again, this is beige. It doesn't look too bad. You know, I may ink around this a little bit with my distressed ink, but for the most part, I think it's going to be okay. I thought it was going to be a crisis because even though I printed that digital kit and selected fit to page, it didn't entirely fit to the page. And somebody on the Facebook group said to me, you know, look, it's okay. There's no right and wrong for junk journaling. And especially because I'm not going to be selling this. It's going to be for me. You know, I think it's going to be good. So I have yet to trim around and do that inking. I will be doing that today. I'm just wondering, I've only got 2 signatures here and they're actually quite thick. Because of the thickness, I've got a huge overlap. So I'm going to try and figure out whether or not if I trimmed this to have a flat, smooth edge, if that's going to be okay. That's going to be another thing that I'm going to have to try and figure out. I'm going to have to do it and hopefully it works out. Again, like look at the overlap here. I would like a smooth edge. Or maybe not, like I don't even know. I'm just bringing you along for my thoughts and processes today. That's only 2 signatures. I think, and look at how it's closing here. Again, it's not something that I'm used to. I'm used to having a junk journal that kind of closes and is open like that. So I've got to try and figure out whether 2 is going to be enough with all of the embellishments, and if I'm okay with it, you know, having that space and closing like that. So lots to think about here. And what I'm going to do I'll probably make a part 4. So this is part 3. I'll make a part 4 after I've figured out what I'm going to be doing with the signatures that I have now. Whether I'm going to trim and make them all flat, which papers I'm going to trim around the edges, and all the inking. So once I've got all that figured out, I'll make another video. I'll make a part 4, and perhaps what I'll do at that point is bring you along for the creative process of actually putting pockets and embellishments inside of my signatures. Okay, so thanks for touching base with me today. I hope I didn't ramble too much. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I do check my messages and I will answer you. And if you like what you've seen, please check out my other videos as well and hit subscribe. Okay, I'll talk to you later, guys. Take care. Happy journaling. Bye-bye.